Sorry, Carol.
No, I was just going to say, Kira, can you hit record?
Just doing that now. Sorry, guys.
No, that's fine. I just want to say thanks for the intro, Roger. I'm definitely taking the back seat because you guys are the amazing people here today. But thanks everyone for joining. This is going to be really fun. Like Roger said, let's just talk Tableau. And yeah, feel free to use the chat if you have any questions. I know it's going off. There was a question if you're a Celtics supporter, so you might want to answer that first, Roger, and then.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm about champions, and Boston is the city of champions. So we tend to deliver every once in a while. It seems that every generation the Celtics offer something. But I'm a big Red Sox fan. I can't get into cricket. It's too long. My nanosecond Americanism won't allow it. But my son plays ice hockey here in Adelaide and played in Brisbane as well. So we're a hockey family. And, what can I say? Other than that, Gridiron is my other fave, but absolutely Celtics, wonderful, wonderful club there. But so I just, what I wanted to say was very unique about this is that we don't have the corporation running these meetings. This is enthusiasts. What we're doing, we're innovating by just sharing ideas and information. So, one thing I like to call it is the Tableau analytical symphony, that we're able to share and give ideas that we can, shortcut and make things a little easier on those utilizing, the practice of these tools. So without further ado, I just want to say, we're here to get inspired, to inspire and organize these local groups, and happy to get going for Adelaide. We're going to discuss data impact on audits today, latest use of Tableau, journey through Relationships Australia, and what's new in Tableau. But we're going to start first with introductions with the three speakers. James Baker joins us as the Manager of Data Analytics at SA Auditor General's Department. Welcome, James. Theresa Tharakan joins us as a Business Systems Analyst, Relationships Australia. Welcome, Theresa. And Sharanu Patil is going to be talking about what's new in Tableau, Solutions Engineer, Tableau Software. Wonderful to have you guys. We start first with James. James, are you on?
Hello, how you going, Roger?
Not too bad. I don't want to spend too much time introducing your topic, except to say it's exciting, what you guys are doing with integrated analytics through Tableau over there at the Auditor General. But I'll let you kick it off, and there you go.
Thanks, Roger. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak at today's Tableau user group. Hopefully you can all see my screen now. What I wanted to run through with you today is talk a little bit about what we've been doing with data analytics and Tableau at the Auditor General's Department. So I've got a mixture of information in terms of what we've been doing to drive engagement, and also some practical examples of some of the things we've been doing in our department. If you've got any questions, I'll try and bring up the chat as well. So feel free to post them as we go through the session. And if I see them, I'll try and address them as they pop up. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit about what's been happening with our department, where we started and what our journey has been within the department to improve data analytics, some of the things we're doing to improve our staff engagement, where we think we're heading in the future, and we'll have an opportunity as well to provide any answers to questions you might have. So a little bit about us, just to provide some background. So the Auditor General's Department is the independent auditor for the SA public sector. So basically it's our job to review the financial statements of all of the state government agencies and to provide opinions. That's one aspect of our work. And we also do the performance audit type stuff, which is more bespoke reviews to have a look at the efficiency, the effectiveness, or the economy of a publicly funded body or project. And those are the ones that tend to probably get more media coverage in terms of, sensitive projects or particularly large spend that's been going on in government. So we do a variety of different activities. And within that department, we're supported by my team, which is the data analytics team. So at the moment, we've got a team of 4, and our activities sort of split between a few main areas. One of them is about supporting specific projects to implement analytics in our department. So things like collecting data, building dashboards, and training people. We do some specific work on certain audits that come up. And increasingly, we're starting to have a look as well about how we can use analytics for our corporate environment. So to start off, let's talk a little bit about where we started a few years ago and what's been happening with how we've been implementing things. So starting off in around about 2016 or so, we had some mixed skill levels and usage with how we were using data analytics. There were pockets of use within the organization, but it certainly wasn't consistent. And we also didn't have suitable software rolled out for people to use, particularly for self-service analytics type setups. And we weren't even really sure how we would use analytics. So there were a few ideas, but we weren't really certain about how we integrated it into our day-to-day work. One of the examples we did do around about that time, which showed the power of data analytics, was looking at concessions eligibility. So we did some work with the then Department for Communities and Social Inclusion, having a look at how they were managing the process of paying out the state-based concessions. So things like energy concessions, water rates and concessions and things like that. And we used some data matching and data analytics techniques to check the controls. What we actually found was that there was insufficient validation applied to almost a quarter of the energy payments that were going out to concession holders. And that equated over a several-year period to around about up to $24 million of payments that were potentially ineligible. So having made those findings and recommendations to the department, they were then able to go and improve their processes. And that led to basically a cost saving of several $1 million using data analytics type techniques by applying additional checking and validation to their processes. So it was a good opportunity and example for us about the power of data analytics. But I guess what we wanted to work out is how we could expand that from little bespoke reviews to something a bit more systematic across our organization. So to do that, we came up with a multi-year data analytics strategy, and that had three main pillars in it. So it talked about how we can use data analytics to improve the quality of what we're doing with our audits and to try and make them more relevant to the public. We looked at how we can build data analytics capabilities through training and various learning and development opportunities. And we also looked at how we can do more work for our performance audits. Obviously, there's lots of different types of benefits for using data analytics, but there were some in particular that we kind of focused on. We saw some time-saving potentials at the early stages with automatically collecting and reconciling and validating the data so that our auditors didn't have to do that manually every time, and building some standard dashboards for repeatable processes to get that efficiency. From using what's in the dashboard, we saw that there were opportunities to improve the audits by being a bit more targeted, finding trends, anomalies, and interesting items that need follow-up, which can lead to a greater value, more effective audit. And obviously, if we've got data in a central place, we can then also look at doing cross-agency analysis and try and understand what's going on across the government sector rather than just individual data sets. So our approach had sort of three aspects to try and make it more integrated than just doing separate reviews. One part is to have a dedicated DA team, which we didn't have a few years ago. So that's something we set up to do the specialist work and enabling the other teams. We had a group of data champions, which I'll talk about in a minute in terms of what we're doing with them. And then we've actually got the auditors or the end users themselves with a self-service analytics capability and also the ability to do some of their own custom stuff within separate teams. So our strategy had a whole lot of different projects to try and implement that strategy, focusing on developing skills, setting up some central dashboards and applications, and looking at different bits and pieces we can do, and a lot of work in terms of our automated data collection to get data in centrally and standardize it so we've got those capabilities. So that's where we were at a few years ago. So where are we at now, or around about now? We've certainly had a significant improvement over the last few years with our uptake and our standardization of analytics in our organization. We've got a lot more data that we collect centrally now, which enables us to do some of these things. And significantly, we've deployed large numbers of Tableau for our organization, large numbers of Tableau desktop and Tableau server licenses. From that, we were able to build our audit planning analytics toolkit, which is a set of standard dashboards around a web application. And I'm going to show you a few details about that in a moment. And then also there was significant effort that we've invested into learning and development. So doing different training courses, information sharing sessions and things like that. Anything we can do a little bit like this Tableau user group to drive uptake and buy-in for our solution. As I mentioned, we have rolled out Tableau. So we've got the ability that everyone in our department has got access to view Tableau server. And then from our department of around about 130, we've got about 55 users for Tableau desktop, because we've got a lot of small audit teams doing different analyses in their own areas. And that's why we really needed to drive that ability to be able to do custom things. You know, for a small team, it's very difficult to build a whole lot of standard stuff for that many people. It is supported to some extent by Tableau Reader as well, although obviously we prefer Tableau Server in terms of where people publish stuff, given the, you know, the central management benefits and things like that. Different types of data, to sort of briefly mention what data we're getting and what we do with it. So it's, at the moment, it's all financial data. So it relates to general ledger, accounts payable, payroll, and revenue data. And we've got that from some central agencies and then also specific agencies of SA government sending us different stuff monthly. Split into transactional data, master data, some history data, so things like the vendor history, and a whole lot of mapping data that we need to provide meaning to the data sets. This is how we kind of push it out to our audit teams. So we've got a central data warehouse and several extracts which are pushed to our Tableau server. We've got access through the extracts in Tableau desktop. So some of our auditors go in and get data that way when they're doing custom analyses. And for the people who haven't got Tableau, we do also have an Excel option, particularly for those smaller data sets that are more manageable in that tool. We then also have the planning toolkit. So the data gets pushed through automatically to these standard dashboards so people can jump right in and have a look at what's going on in the agency that they're auditing. Just spotted a question. Thanks for the question. Do you have your data sources set up as published data sources on Tableau server, which your users can then use in desktop when building? Yes, we do. Yeah, so we've definitely found performance efficiencies and things like that by doing it that way. We have got a couple of different versions of our extracts as well. So we've tried to make the data as accessible as possible to our auditors and, you know, try and set it up nicely so they don't have to do too much when they can go straight into Tableau, connect to something and start analyzing the data. So the key goal from our planning toolkit application is that we wanted to standardize what was going on with the audit planning process and use the results of what's coming out of that to find out what the areas of significance are for the audits, and then actually change the audit approach to make it more meaningful as a result of what they've found. So I wanted to show you a few examples of what we've been doing in the planning toolkit. It's a little bit hard to do a live demo given the security requirements, but what I've got is some screenshot recordings. So give you a little bit of an idea about how the application functions, and I'm happy to take questions as well. Just a little bit more detail here, but it's basically saying using this application is a key part now of the audit process. So the auditors would get to this certain part in their audit process. They'd step through, look at certain dashboards, they go and find what they want, they screenshot it and do further follow-ups, and then they document that in the audit tool. Got another question. How do you then manage the user permissions for these data sources? Do you use AD groups or custom groups in Tableau server? So yeah, it is driven by AD groups in the first instance, so we can work out which of our auditors are in which section. We also map that to data that comes out of our practice management system, so we know which individual user is supposed to audit what client. That information feeds into both SQL and Tableau, and then we apply row-level security to be able to limit the access for each person to the relevant ones that they're auditing. This is what our application looks like. Hopefully you'll be able to see that on your end. So as I said, this is a web application that we've built with Tableau dashboard. So it's basically a wrapper and some additional functionality. We have the ability to go in and select the relevant client for the audit that you're doing. And you can either select one client or you can actually filter to multiple clients and view the dashboards from that as well. Once you've done that, then you can select the relevant dashboard that you want to have a look at. We'll just jump to that. So across the top menu here, we've got a variety of different dashboards that we've pre-built. So we're having a look at the expenditure one and now payroll. So we have things like period analysis to see what's going on across the year, to look at top vendors and trends in vendors, to look at employees. So there might be instances where our auditors are looking for significant amounts of overtime and things like that. So there are a variety of different dashboards that we've pre-built to be able to go in and do that. We'll just bring up a specific dashboard to show you. So we've selected period analysis. So that'll then jump to the dashboard. And this one is basically just showing what's happening year on year between the prior year and the current year to date. And it's also showing, when it just comes up again down the bottom, what's happening with the period. So over each month, is there a particular trend that we might be looking at? You can also switch from, based on how we built it, between different views. So you can look at it with a bar view, a line view, or you can actually see the numbers in a table, which if you're doing an audit is quite useful sometimes to actually get the specific numbers of what's going on. But obviously the visual perspective is really useful as well, just to get a snapshot of what's happening. And another thing just to highlight is that we've built some filtering functionality into our application. So you've got the ability to apply global filters. So a couple of examples of that is our auditors want to just look at a subset. So they might want to look at only the supplies and services expenses or employee expenses or some sort of category like that. So they can go in with these options on the top right of the window, select what they want and press apply. That will refresh the dashboard that's open, and it will also apply it to any other dashboard that they open during their current session. There's also options like filtering by very specific account codes. If they're looking for some individual cost center and they want to apply that to multiple dashboards, or to take in and out the GST amounts. Just to briefly mention some of the stuff we're doing to work on our staff engagement. So as I said, we've been investing a lot of activity into learning and development. Excuse me. So some of that is training courses, some of it is information sessions, and then some more collaborative options. So anything we can basically do to get our auditors interested, engaged, and using the tools that we're pushing out. And that's supported by sort of semi-regular assessments of the staff skills to just check in about where they're going and to find out any gaps. Few things to mention. So I said about the data champions. So we've got a couple of data champions in all of our audit teams, and they're meeting monthly to run through a training exercise and also to share examples of how they've used analytics within their audit team. And we found that really valuable just to try and get people talking, and obviously, seeing examples in one team and thinking about how they can apply that to other teams. We've also been doing data analytics showcase sessions. So that's an organization-wide activity. This picture is pre-COVID, so everyone's nice and close together in a physical environment. And during COVID, we moved to virtual, but trying to do those every 2-3 months. Same sort of deal, showing some examples of where people have been using data analytics and how they actually link it into their work process. And that's been really valuable. And we have been doing Makeover Monday, or we call it Makeover Monday. It's really every fourth Monday makeover. Just sending out another example of where people can get a publicly available data set, have a go at building a dashboard, and sharing those within the department. Just to conclude, briefly to mention about our future direction. So as you probably understood, they've done a fair amount of work in terms of setting up capability, getting the data in, setting up our tools, things like that. But we have further ambitions. So we're trying to improve our data literacy. So stepping away from just looking at the tools to also getting the data literacy type concepts and getting people across those, particularly at manager level or someone who may not be doing the day-to-day work. We're looking at growing the data analytics function to support an increased use of data analytics in our department. We're looking at expanding the scope of what we're doing as well. So we've talked today about planning, but also having a look at how we can actually rely on some of the data to get assurance. So an example of that might be, instead of just doing a sample of our payroll testing for employees, we can 100% check the employees against the enterprise bargain agreement and make sure that they've been paid the correct amount. We're just starting to have a look at some advanced analytics pilot options. So in the future, what we're hoping to do is build more of an advanced capability, things like robotic process automation, potentially data science, those kind of things. So when the opportunities come up, we're starting to build those capabilities. And finally, On the technology side, there's still more data that we're collecting from different government agencies and bringing that into our environment. So that'll be an ongoing activity over the next few years. And also confirming our ICT environment for our future analytics requirements. And part of that is having a look at how much we keep of our data and systems on premise versus what we put into the cloud and the cost benefit equation of that sort of setup. So that's it from me. Hopefully that was a good snapshot so you get an understanding of what we've been doing. I'm happy to open up now to any questions anyone has.
That was great, James. Thanks for that. So if anyone's got any questions at all, feel free to chuck them through in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. We'll also be opening up at the end if you think of anything else in the meantime.
Thank you.
All right, James. Well, thanks a lot. 24 million in ineligible payments, possibly. That's great insight. That's wild. That really is. Now we have Theresa Tharakan with Q&A with Param, doing a journey of RASA's use of Tableau. Theresa, you on?
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Yes, we can hear you.
That's good.
All good.
Hi, Theresa. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you, Param. How are you?
Good, good. Now, just wanted to make sure that everybody's able to see the slides.
Yep. All looks
Okay.
good.
All right. Okay, let's get this started. So to kick off this QA, let's, Theresa, if you don't mind, could you give us a brief introduction of yourself and how long you've been developing reports using Tableau?
I'm the Tableau lead at RASA, and I belong to the information and data management team. And I've been doing this role for the last 2 years, but I've been working with Tableau for the last 3 years. So that's my experience with Tableau. And Tableau has been a very self-sufficient, self-supporting tool. And anybody without a technical background has been, like for me, it has been so much easier to pick up skills and develop dashboards in no time. Yeah, that's my experience with Tableau.
That is good. Thanks for that. And at a high level, would you be able to let us know how RASA has been using Tableau?
Yeah, RASA is a contracted organization for the funding that we get from the department. So we get funded from different government bodies, the central government, federal government, and the state government. And we are supposed to feed back to the department on how we are using the taxpayers' money. So for us, the data is very critical. So how we use our data and how we feed it back to the department is very crucial. So, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's great to hear. Now, seeing that, well, I guess on the type of reports that you're building, accuracy would be something that's very critical. So how do you go about ensuring this?
We have built a lot of data quality reports to understand the data validation side of our quality of data that we submit. So the data validation is one of the key factors that we have. So in the data validation, we make sure the demographic data of the clients, the age, gender, and all the information that is being fed into the department is accurately captured. And also we have built other data validation reports so that there is a process of checking what data is missing, what information is being fed into the department, even before it goes to the reporting stage.
Okay, yeah, I think so. That's very needed, especially when you're building that level of information. That's going to be critical to the business. All right, thanks for that. Besides this, other type of reports that you create, besides this funder type of reports?
We do have other reports like the management decision-making reports. So that's only for the eyes of the management to make decisions on how many staff members need to be involved in a team. And also during the COVID period, we had to build very specific reports on how the service was delivered. So the service was previously, if the service was delivered on a face-to-face basis, when COVID hit, we could not deliver the face-to-face sessions. So we had to manage and also explain to the board how are we coping and providing services. So the modality of how the services was delivered was very important during that time. And we picked up a few reports for the time being. And in 2 months' time, I'm sure we had a telehealth platform that was introduced, because we showed the board that with the data that we were providing services over the phone. So we picked up the telehealth platform for RASA.
Okay, all right. And it was, I guess it must have been very helpful to already have that report available. So when it came the critical moment for you to actually decide on that, it was already available.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's good to know. Any other type of reports besides this?
We do have service performance analysis reports. So it includes our annual reports. So the information that RASA publishes in its annual reports is also being captured through the various Tableau reports that we have. So that also includes service locations. Where do we provide services? What kind of demographic do we provide services? And information about the different services that we support.
All right, cool. That's good to know. All right, so let's moving along. Now, looking at the range of reports that is used in RASA would have required you to have a bit of knowledge on how to work with Tableau. So what methods did you use to build up your Tableau skills, and how did you find these resources helpful?
Personally, I would say that it's always trial and error to find out the correct information. But if I get stuck, normally we would go and check the Tableau community page. So most of the time we get answers for what we're looking for, sometimes not. So we will have to look for other online resources that we have. The last option would be the normal poor old Google search. And sometimes we might be lucky, sometimes not. But then we do have a research and evaluation team that I work along very much. And there are a couple of statisticians who work with me. So it's good to talk to them and ask feedbacks and information about how we can further visualize that data and present the right information.
Yeah. Okay, all right, that's good to know. I was kind of hoping you will say, "Oh, I just use Google," because for me personally, Google's my first option. But out of curiosity, whenever you do search in Google, the top answers that you get, how often are they from Tableau community page?
I think the Tableau community page normally comes up in the first or the second choice, or mostly in the top 10 answers. So it's always there.
All right, yeah, that's basically the kind of experience that I've had as well. And all right, so moving along to the next question. All right, so now you've had about 2+ years of working with Tableau. And then from here, what are the most features of Tableau that you frequently use?
The first and the foremost, I would say, is the LODs. The LODs are amazing. In the beginning, I used to scare myself thinking, oh, I can't do the LODs. But now, after using it and applying it in my day-to-day life, I would say LODs are the best. And the next one that would be is the data search engine, or the data source tab that we have in Tableau. So that helps me to understand the metadata and also the different links. LOD is the level of details. It helps you to granulate and understand the smallest granule of information. And that was a question in the chat. And show me feature is when I use my visualizations to choose the correct graph that would give me the correct information. And even to present us information, you can present it in different way. But for me, a graph should be easy to understand. Whenever you look at a graph, you should be able to understand what is the graph trying to tell me. So show me function has helped me to choose the right graph at the right time and present my data nicely and easy to understand.
Yeah, in my years of experience of using Tableau, I at sometimes, when I'm rushing through things, I'll just like, yeah, let's just use the Tableau show me feature, and it just quickly gets me the information or the visualization that I quickly need to present. So it's definitely a very good feature. Now, you've talked quite a bit on the desktop part. What about on Tableau server? What features do you regularly use, and also features that it's talked about within RASA?
I like the grid view, but I know my colleagues would like the list view. And because I personally like the thumbnail, for some reason, I like it. But they make fun of me because it's like children's stuff. But I tell them that I like the thumbnail, and it helps me a lot when I'm looking through stuff.
Yeah,
But
visually it's able to give you the
yeah.
information that you're after. Yeah.
Yeah. But then when I go and support team leaders and managers who don't go into Tableau very much, I've seen them frequently use the favorite option. So they favorite their own report so that when they're going in the next time, they don't visit Tableau very frequently. So favorite is one of their favorites. And also the recent feature is also another one that I've seen them going in quickly to see what did I look for in my reporting for the last few months. So the reasons will show them what have they been using quite frequently.
Yep, that is great to hear. And I can't, well, I think so. I lost count the number of times that I've always recommend to people to look at the favorites and recent in the sense that to help them to quickly jump into the visualization that they're after.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving along now, this is more about Tableau's core capability, which is basically developing visual reports. Now, is there a visualization style that you find end users like to see in their reports? And can you tell us about them and why users like it?
All right, to be honest with you, normally our like team leaders and managers want to give the numbers to the funder. So they only want the raw data, the numbers. But sometimes I would say that you should use graphs and visualizations, and I give it to them so that they can use it. So because I've been promoting all these simple graphs and charts, they have started using the graph charts, and they have been using, but they prefer not to because they want the numbers. Graph charts, when they're also doing presentations to the team, they use the graph charts. And also when they are reporting to the funder, sometimes they take screenshots and paste it in their reports to the funder so that the information is conveyed more easily.
All right, that's good to hear.
That's the best, yeah.
Yeah. Now, thanks for that. I'm quite surprised that no mentions of pie chart. I know this particular chart type is one of the most commonly used and sometimes debated. So has there been any request from anyone from the organization for a pie chart?
I don't think anybody has requested for pie charts specifically, but then pie charts has got its own limitations. Pie chart doesn't let you, visualize when there is multiple variables, like more than 3 or 4 variables. I find it very hard to explain because the purpose of having a chart is lost. So I personally don't like, and I don't promote anybody to use pie charts. But if they, and nobody's come and asked me, but we do have a few pie charts, but that is mostly for gender and those kind of like a Boolean value, yes or no. Or even when there's 3 variables, yes, they've used pie charts. But I should say senior management prefer to use the line graphs, like for the trends and the patterns, and also for forecasting, they use the line charts. Yeah.
Yep. All right, that's good to know. Thanks for that, a bit of insight on that. And I think that will conclude our Q&A for today. So thanks again, Theresa, and I'll pass it on to Sharanu.
Thanks, guys. Just before we do that, we've just had a question come in from Jansen. So Jansen said, how do you provide the raw data via Tableau server to the funders when they want it while graphs are provided, or just in Excel format?
So as I said, we do have different funders and their requirements are very much different. Some funders have got an Excel spreadsheet where we just enter the numbers and give it to them. Whereas there are other funders where they expect us to complete a paper document or even in a Word document. So they have to copy and paste graphs. Yeah. So it's different versions. We also have another funder that we automatically do bulk upload data submission every day. So there's multiple different funders and their submission methods are also different.
Theresa, Param, that's great. That's great stuff.
Thank you,
I really appreciate it. I think everybody else does too. The visualizations. I know it was a comment that came up. It's said that I was afraid of pie chart lovers. So there's a Halloween costume out there for pie charts for this particular group. But the fact is I really appreciate everything. We have Sharanu, Patil coming up, talking about what's new in Tableau. His slide is up for everybody to see. So if you'd like, Sharanu, you can run with it.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks, James and others for setting this up nicely. And here I am at the last session with 20 minutes to go, where I want to just talk about what's new in Tableau, assuming most of you are keeping in touch with the latest developments. Hey, if you ever wondered what is this versions all about, it's all about what year we are in and the release. Okay, so every quarter we add one release, new release. So the .1 is the first quarter release. Okay, so 2021 we are in, and your first release is out. And by June, we will come up with 2021.2. So this is how the naming convention works. Now, just a brief intro about me. I'm Sharanu Patil. I'm a solution engineer here at Tableau, working out of Melbourne. I work with all the public sector accounts in Victoria, South Australia, and Western Australia, and some in Tasmania. So I hope to see the Adelaide user group in person next time when it happens, hopefully. That's the plan. Now, without wasting much time, let's get on to, okay, what's new, which has happened in Tableau in last 3 to 6 months. Now, okay, so now going to the next slide, I just wanted to quickly show you, you don't get bombarded with so many features. Yes, we do release a lot of features every release, but what are the main things take away for a development community or larger deployments? I would rather look at these AI-powered analytics, which is now, we are trying to integrate a lot of features available in our Einstein Analytics product, which is, as you're aware, it's a core Salesforce analytics engine. After acquisition, we are trying to build a unified solution combining the best of breed features from both these products, that is Tableau and Einstein Analytics, and making them available for the end users. So there are a lot of improvements in that area. I will briefly show you some of that maybe in a quick demo. That's a great thing. And there are some improvements and new features added on the data preparation side. Okay, so for example, you can write to Excel from prep, data prep, which was not there till now. You were able to write it to a CSV or write back to an existing data source. Now we added Excel. And there are some more new data sources added on the website for creators, users who are using Tableau on the browser on a Tableau server. Now, as we promised before, we are adding new data sources every release on the browser as well. Okay. And yeah, Theresa spoke about her love for LODs. There is more on the LODs advancement side for authors. So quick LODs have been a lot of stuff done there. And there are a lot of improvements on the web authoring side. I will show you those. But for people who are like on the server side, for our server admins, there is some great features on the licensing aspect, specifically the zero downtime licensing and the server ATR. These are some great add-ons on the server side. Okay, so these are in a nutshell about what we added in 2021.1. Okay, now let's quickly go through some of it as briefly as I can, so that I try covering most of this. So on the AI-powered analytics, we bundled in 3 buckets. One is we added this dashboard extension, that is AI predictions from Einstein. You can drag and drop it as an extension. So you're aware that Tableau has been working with multiple partners, where along with our partners, we also release extensions to our extension gallery. Now with this release, these are natively made available from Tableau desktop. You can drag and drop from an extension button on while you're creating dashboard. So the first one is we added the Einstein Discovery as an extension. So now you can even integrate the real-time prediction into your visits by just dragging and dropping that particular extension onto your dashboard. So, and as I said, On the data prep side, we added predictions to your data set. You can add a calculation on the LOD side for Einstein Analytics into your prep flow. So these are in a nutshell on the AI and AI-powered analytics feature. Now this is how it looks like in a production scenario. So now you look at this dashboard. It had an extension of Einstein Discovery. You see, when I click on the Einstein button, you see this predictions view coming on your Tableau dashboard. So on the requirement front, it requires a Tableau desktop that is 2021.1, and also it requires an additional license of Einstein Discovery for all the people who wants to use this prediction. So this is how it looks like in actual desktop. You just need to make use of this extension by just dragging and dropping the Einstein Discovery extension onto your dashboard where you want to add this prediction. So basically, there will be some backend work which needs to be done building that model in the web interface of the Tableau CRM. For that, you can find all the help on our website. As you all know, how to find the latest available feature info and how to use them is just go to Google. As Theresa and team mentioned, Google is the first place. Type in what's new, Tableau 2021.1. You will find this feature listed on the top. Click on that and you will find the step-by-step guide to how to make this feature in your dashboard. Okay, so in continuation of that, so Einstein table calculations are made available in Tableau. As I said, you can write this model or code add this into your calculation. As I said, this requires an additional license. So this is available from this release onward. So you see that while you're creating a new Tableau table calculations, you can bring that prediction model engagement, this particular script you are seeing, you can add this and use that discovery feature natively in Tableau dashboard. Now, moving on to the data preparation side, as I said, now we made the ability to output flow into an Excel. And we also added support for incremental refreshes with a Salesforce connector in Tableau Prep. So these are some great add-ons which we are spending since quite some time. And also on the browser side, if you are a creator user on the Tableau server, so there were new data sources added. For example, Amazon Athena, Apache Drill, OData, and SharePoint lists are now available on the browser. So don't confuse that. Oh, I already see this connectors in the desktop, but what we are talking about is the connectors on the browser. Okay, so these are the ability to connect to the newer data source from the browser side. And there are a few more new integrations incorporated on the Azure side. So now Azure Integrations will allow users to connect to the data with Azure and Azure AD. This includes Azure SQL database, Azure Data Lake in Gen 2, all this, you see the list. So Synapse and Databricks. So these are the Azure infrastructure data sources which you can connect now from this release. And going on to quick LOD, this will, by selecting just a dimension and measure, you now will allow you to quickly create a fixed calculation. This is how you can do it, just by dragging and dropping the dimension and measures. You can create a quick LOD. This whole process is made simple. Before you used to write a calculation, but there is some improvement in terms of less intervention of writing it is done from this release onwards. And also for all the developers who love this part of dragging and dropping headers, which is made now available on the web, something like this. So you have the ability to just drag and drop these headers in the browser. So when you're working as a creator or an explorer in Tableau server, so this feature is made available on the browser. Okay, so that was something which most of the developers were asking on the community. Now this is made available, which is great. Now, so now I spoke about having an extension gallery. This is how it looks like, the in-product extension gallery. So when you are, before to get to an extension, you need to go to extension gallery on the browser. Now using this button of extension, just drag and drop extensions onto your dashboard. You can search your extension or favorite extension by category, or even do a plain search. Okay, so the first one listed is Einstein Discovery, which I showed in the beginning, how you can start using it. And there are a lot of other extensions available from Data Robot or AI Wordsmith, which many of the customers use for narrative or making a narrative out of a dashboard. So some of them are free, but most of them you may get a free trial, or then you may need to pay. So you may need to work with those vendors. But this is how you start using the extension gallery going forward from the inside in Tableau desktop itself. Okay, and other than that, what I find more interesting is the work done on the Ask Data. So as you are aware, that Ask Data is our natural language interface on the Tableau server, where if you don't find the answer to your question on the dashboard, you can ask the question to a published data source. This is being available for almost a year and a half now, this feature, which is getting quite good traction among our customers, where they are really liking talking to Tableau server. So they really call it like, I am able to talk to Tableau server in my own language. So you write your question, Tableau tries to answer in a visual manner. We added a lot of improvement to it. So for example, now we have given a one-click guide where you can navigate what you want to do. And also you have now greater control of what fields are indexed. So you can literally write alias or a synonym for the word you are looking to pull out of your data. So you can do all that in a flexible manner using Ask Data. Okay, so this is one of the widely used feature of late. So, or rather, even widely talked feature of Tableau, right in current scenario, where it makes the whole feature available to a lot more users who are new to the product or who just got onboarded or want to interact with the dashboard. This is a great feature where we are investing heavily. And on the Tableau server, there were a lot more improvements. As I said, now you already know about this notification feature, which is there since quite some time. Now we made this as a unified notification where you can have larger control using an action menu. For example, you want to remove the notification or make it unread, all at a centralized manner. So you can even set up your preference. So this makes your life easier if you're a Tableau server admin or a user who is bombarded with a lot of notifications, happens in a larger deployment. So this is a great feature on the notification aspect as well. Now, as I
Wonderful.
said,
Sorry, Sharanu, just to quickly, I think we've had a couple of questions come through. Don't know whether you've got the chat open there at the moment.
Okay, I can't see the chat because I am in different screen. Yeah, 1 minute. How do I see the chat?
That's okay. So I think Steve Street's just started answering these, but one of the first ones, so from Matt. So Matt just wanted to know if there's any new standard charts. I think Lindsay mentioned the 3D pie chart, but are there any others at all?
Okay, I'm not able to see the chat. I hope Steve is answering those. Did Steve answer that? I can answer. Let me click on that. Okay, now I'm able to see the chat. Yeah.
If not, I can just read out some of the others.
3D pie chart for now.
I think Lindsay's pulling a leg on that one.
Okay, cool. So let's come back onto those questions. Was there any other question?
Easy.
Okay, Steve is answering those questions. I am happy that Steve is there, so he's our evangelist.
I've got you
cool.
back.
Let me finish.
I've got you back, Sharanu.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. So a couple more features for making a server admin's life easier is the introduction of this our new ATR, that is new authorized to run feature. So if you are wanting to the options for server with internet connection, you can use this for activating your server online. So this is a good add-on for Tableau server admins. And also, as you are aware, that till now, if you're when you add a new license, so you needed a reboot with zero downtime licensing feature. That whole aspect of rebooting a server or that downtime is taken out. So with this there is zero downtime on Tableau server when you do any licensing changes. Okay, so these are predominantly some of the new features which we introduced on 2021.1. As I said, the great place would be just Google what's new Tableau 2021.1. If you don't really know the version, I'm sure you will know what quarter we are in. So just type in that 2021.1.2. So it will, the first link would be the new feature one. So that would be a great place where we have minor snippet of the demo about what new feature has come in. You are open to just go and check those out. That's what I had briefly to talk about what features we added in last 3 to 6 months. If there are any questions, we can take now. As I said, my colleague Steven Street is also there, so we'll be happy to take any questions.
Excellent job, Sharanu. All right, we don't have any questions. I just really wanted to spend a minute to thank the experiences, you know, from everybody, James and Theresa and Sharanu, learning more about this stuff, bringing this voice from Adelaide, and everyone joining tonight. I do have a few housekeeping things. I hope you'll hang on because we're giving out that 1-year license. But we want to remind you, there's a poll that's coming out right now asking for your participation to make us a better user group. Please, please, please hit the link, fill out the poll. We need you to invite your colleagues. And if you could present or host the next meeting, we're looking to share this opportunity to grow Adelaide in the user group. Also, the next Adelaide-wide TUG meeting is August 3rd, so put that in your calendar. And suggestions have been put forward for a SA TUG meeting for November. So we're looking at one in August, one in November, and we just want to get everybody involved in making those decisions and organizing accordingly. Just, I guess everyone in today's user group has been entered into a spinning wheel for who is going to get this 1-year license. This is awesome. This is great. The pie chart. No, just Kira, could we just get on that and see who is taking home the 1-year license?
Sure thing. Just first up, thanks everyone. It's been really great to have everyone on board. The link to that quiz, Jasudis has just popped that in the chat now. So if everyone can just take a quick look at that, we'll get going on that just quickly first before we do the big spinning wheel Roger's so excited about.
I am.
So if we can get everyone have a click on that one. If anyone's having trouble with it, let us know in the chat. But if you're all good, you can give us a thumbs up or let us know.
Brilliant.
Excellent. A rotating pie chart.
Absolutely.
Not a spinning wheel.
We can also morph this into we're waiting for this impending victory by someone to take home the 1-year license. But also want to encourage folks, we can hang on here a few minutes past this. This is end of program. Just wait for us to choose who the winner is. But just want to, if there's anything that anybody has that they haven't gotten out there, please feel free to share the question or just, engage the Zoom. We're going to hang around here to allow some dialogue or, Q&A.
Excellent. So yeah, as you're seeing these questions coming through, just going to be really helpful for us to make sure that we're doing the right things for the next upcoming user groups. Obviously, we're very excited to have it back up and going again after a few years of not not having one here in Adelaide. So yeah, we really appreciate the time you're taking on this. So we've just got some comments and questions coming through. Excellent. Excellent. The other thing we'll do is we'll just open up so you guys can unmute yourselves now if there's anything you'd like to say. Any questions just while we're going through this. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for filling out the poll for us. That's going to help us facilitate next event. It's going to be very useful. Now we can get on to that exciting giveaway that we can do. So just give us a sec. Let's get this up and running.
Rotating pie chart.
No more 3D pie charts. Excellent. All right, let's give this a spin.
Really need music.
Need the drum roll.
Na, 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 na. Hey, na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Hey, Tram.
Hey.
All right.
Oh, I know, close, Tom, almost. So congratulations, Tram. We'll be in contact following this session. We've got a nice Tableau e-learning voucher for you to use. So hopefully you can make some good use of this one. So congratulations.
All right, so everyone's been invited to unmute and engage. I just want to ask, is there anybody that has a question for the group for the good of the order? Is that a definitely no?
A definitely no. Sounds like it.
That's great, guys. Everyone will get on with their evening, and we'll let you go. But I am very interested in anything that you guys have to say about what we've done here. We want to make these better. I'm not sure that I shared my information with everybody, but you can email me, roger@dataspark.com.au or kira@dataspark.com.au. We're very interested in feedback, very excited to get this going. Hopefully we'll get a physical meeting coming in the next, by the end of the year or whatever, but thank you, everybody. We can't unmute, Fiona says.
All righty. Let me try this again.
We're doing it. We're on it, Fiona. We're on it.
Very much for everything. You did a really great job today. Well done. Bravo.
Good job. I
Well
can
done,
now
guys.
talk myself.
Wonderful. There we go. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Enjoy your evening. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thanks to
one.
the presenters as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. It was a great session. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night.
Cheers.
Hey, James, if you're still there, this is a real silly question. Is there a department that audits the auditor's department?
James is not there.
Damn. I was so curious about that.
I saw him leave as soon as you asked the question.
Cool. I think it's just us, so we can jump off.